What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Plastic Underground. Caleb here, and this week I'm making something from Fallout, something fun. I was kind of working on a quick Vault-Tec lab costume. I never got to wear it, but I will be wearing it for an upcoming thing. But I also wanted just to show you guys quickly how I made this dosimeter. This is a in the Fallout universe, it's like a Geiger counter for the lab coat specifically, and it was pretty fun to make. I made it all out of EVA foam, and I'm going to show you how I made it. So let's get to the build.
Train to the Plastic Underground. Approaching station. Please stand away from the platform edge. Alright, so starting off on this template that I drew, I just kind of looked at a few references and came up with a dimension that I thought looked good, something that would not be like huge but also fit in the pocket of a lab coat. So I'm just cutting that template out. It's basically just a rectangle box with a circle in it, and I'm using some 10mm foam. Using two pieces of 10mm foam to make it 20mm thick altogether. So I'm just cutting the rectangle out of these, and then I cut the circle out of the top layer, and then I glue that top layer to some scrap 10mm foam, so that when it's all glued up, then I can just trim that bottom scrap piece and just square everything up. This is the little dial thing that goes on the front. I just kind of sanded that with a Dremel and stick that on the bottom there. I think that's like the switch, the on and off switch, I don't know. Then I go through with my Dremel here and I just kind of sand over all of the cuts, making sure that it's all uniform. This is a little chunk of PVC pipe I have laying around. I put contact cement on that pipe after I cut it to shape. I roll it onto some 2mm foam that has contact cement on it. This gives it a good layer on top and also keeps everything the same texture. If you paint the foam, it has a different texture, but then if you paint PVC pipe, it's smoother, so obviously it would be a lot smoother. So I want everything to have the same texture, so that's why I do that. Next thing was I put this stone bit on my Dremel. Then I went through and I carved in these circle things. I don't cut these all the way through the pipe. I cut these through the foam into the pipe so that it gives a little bit of depth. Then I take a actual drill bit and I cut through the PVC pipe all of these little like honeycomb porthole things. Then I can score cut the top of that foam and hit it with a heat gun just to open it up and give it a panel line. These are the latch pieces that go on top of that pipe. These are just some 10mm foam cut with a bevel cut on the back so that it will lay against the pipe. So now I can put contact cement on both parts here, line them up, and kind of smush them together. This is a little snake piece of some foam clay. If I have extra foam clay, I'll like roll them out into snakes because you never know when that'll come in handy. And I'm just kind of sanding the top off just to kind of round it over. And that becomes my little switch that goes inside that little bevel on the front. So the next thing I do is I use some of this primer. It's foam primer. I've used this before. You've heard me talk about it. You can use Plasti Dip. I was painting this upstairs in my paint area, so I just use what I have on hand because it's quicker sometimes, and this stuff dries pretty quick, and it also gives you kind of a smooth finish. It's not textured like Plasti Dip is sometimes, and I wanted this to be pretty smooth, so that's why I use that. Then use some basic gray primer, and I prime the whole thing gray. The reason I do that is because it's going to get painted yellow, and I wanted to give it a uniform light gray to have the yellow go on top of, because I didn't want to put 12 coats of yellow. I think I only ended up doing 2 coats on top of the gray, which is pretty good for yellow. Just making sure to cover that. Next thing I do is I take some real screws. I got this box of mishmash stuff all over the place, and I just screwed these where they belong. You can make these out of foam. I've done that before. You can't beat real hardware though. Sometimes, honestly, it just has that look and feel to it. It also gives a little bit of weight, extra weight too. So then I go through and I paint everything silver that needs to be silver. So the switch here on the bottom is silver, and the tube part is also silver. I'm using a little bottle of Vallejo Chrome. This is a pretty good paint, honestly. I use my airbrush, and I've always just used craft paint, and always usually end up getting frustrated with it, and then recently bought some good actual paints, and it's why have I not been buying these paints all the time? But yeah, they're expensive, but they are worth it, I will say that. I also have bought a Vallejo gunmetal 4-year airbrush that I use quite a bit now. I really enjoy it. I printed out this little what do you call it here? The actual screen thing that goes inside. And I'm just using some old plastic packaging to cut out the glass, quote unquote glass area. And then a little bit of EVA foam cut into a circle to make the top ring that goes around it. This paper dial here gets this little detail cut out of it. And I decided that the way I would glue this in place is to cut up this little tiny skewer. I cut 3 pieces of this skewer, same length, and then I'm just putting a little glue on them. And then that paper dial will sit on top of those skewers. And that worked pretty good. I glue this all together, and then I take it apart to paint the inside behind that dial silver. I don't know if I show it, but I didn't like it being yellow back there. I don't think it's supposed to be, and so I did take this apart and fix it. This is another one of those skewers with some more of that plastic packaging cut into a almost like a clock hand shape, and then that gets glued, and it gets glued into place, and you can kind of, this is your opportunity to set how many rads you're in. I went like middle of the row. So yeah, then this top ring gets glued on top of that. So then for the backing piece here, I'm just taking this soda can. I cut these down because I use them for like roofing and stuff on miniatures. And so I just took this can and folded the corners over just to give it a nice clean edge. And after I do this one side here, I make sure that the other side is the same thickness as the yellow part. And then I can go ahead and just glue this on the back. And how that works is it just folds and goes inside your pocket. It works for the time being. It was a quick fix. It's also real like aluminum, so that's cool. But I'm sure I'll be adding either like magnets or Velcro to this in the future for the pocket area. But yeah, that is it. That is how I made the radiation Geiger counter thing for the lab coats from Fallout 4. So hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll see you next time when we make something cool.